Alexei Sayle takes a look at some of Hong Kong's funniest chop-socky movies.
You can say what you like about kung fu movies, as long as you say that they've got shed loads of fighting in them. Because they have. You've got a big fight at the start, then you've got minor scuffles on the way, and then, right at the end, you've got a bloody big scrap. Kung fu movies are cool, and anybody who disagrees will feel the petulant nip of my deadly dragon budgie fist.
What? My superior kung fu will finish you off.
Kung fu movies use sound dubbing in what we might call a challenging way. Now you might say, why don't we leave the voices raw, oriental, uncut, like sushi? But that would be unfair, because kung fu movies are mostly shot on the incredibly noisy streets of Hong Kong. And what we hear as this, without dubbed on sound effects, would sound like this. And it's British sound engineers and voiceover artists that make them sound like such complete twats.
It's been all of 18 years, Mr. Tiger.
We stayed up all night just to kill him for you.
Quite an exotic mover.
Fortunately, a thing like that would never happen to a respected actor such as myself, so I'm wearing my wife's knickers. The sound effects at the BBC.
I am totally invincible.
But for the Kung Fu fan, it's not just the time ing that you have to get right, it's also the accent.
But what's that? If I like it? Why not?
Yes, yes, of course. How many girls would you like?
Just one.
Yeah. One.
Well then, that'll be 10% extra.
But why is that then?
Service charge you get.
He obviously comes from the Chinese satellite province of Braintree. Even if they don't dub it, a bitter and twisted subtitler can still stick the knife in.
點湯嘅秘笈，妄想成為天下第一高手喎！我呸！你哋呢班傻瓜，仲同佢埋命值得咩？你而家當香港啲差人低能地弱智啊！
紅色嘅月亮，你不如話有個藍色囉柚。
Humour is a tad different as well. Whereas we Westerners might like the well-crafted Richard Curtis Bon Mot, in a kung fu movie what would be considered really hilarious would be this. Or for a real laugh riot, what they do is push a bloke in a well. Twice! In a genre where the movie makers fully expect people to fast forward through the talking in order to get to the violent bits, it's important that one can get to grips with the characters at a glance. Hence the costumes. Long white clothes. Good. Long white hair. Bad.
I like the act of killing.
And the more you chuckle smugly, the harder you are.
Now it is your turn to die.
And the long white hair doesn't have to be on the top of your head either. That was the ancient art of Jamiroquai, or fighting eyebrows. Sort of like a lovable, fluffy ninja gunk, really. But you'll also be delighted to know that kung fu movies have managed to incorporate many of the subtleties of postmodernist feminist thought.
What are you doing here?
Beating you up.
Sexy chick.
What's it to you then? I shall beat you up as well.
The time for talking is over. You know, a kung fu movie without fighting would be like a porno movie without sex. In fact, they're a bit similar, aren't they? First there's one-on-one action, then two-on-one action, then three-on-one action with a big stick, then there's a big group scene. So people have told me. But in a kung fu movie, this orgy of violence could be ruined by somebody shouting one word, and that word would be Bando! You see, for a fight scene to work effectively, the bad guys have to line up in an orderly queue in order to get their thrashing from the good guy. Without this convention, an unsightly ruck would mean that evil triumphs every time, which leaves them with the problem. Which body gets beaten up first? Having finally decided to engage their foe in mortal combat, what footwear do they choose? Pumps. These guys are so tough hard that when they wake up in the morning, they stroll over to the wardrobe and think, I'm going to spend the day kicking my sworn enemy in the teeth. What'll I wear? I'll wear me softest, least pain-resistant pumps to do it with. That's how hard these guys are. Hey. Of course, it's not all flying fists and fancy footwear in Kung Fu. Here's a demonstration of what you can do with a nice orange scarf from River Island. That style of Kung Fu is called waving a hoop about a bit, which is probably only useful if you want to win a soft toy at a ninja fun fair. But for the really adventurous, why not harness the power of a herd of giant water spiders? So that's Kung Fu films. They should be enjoyed for what they are. Fantastic pieces and non-namby-pamby choreography. Rather like wrestling without Kent Walton. Martial arts films, at their best, are fantastic physical theatre. Long may the dancing continue. Take it away, boys.
You are watching Kung Fu Night on BBC Two.